Welcome back to Cottage Designs by Erin, where today we are working on little miniature Halloween dresses for the 8-inch diminutive doll like Jenny and Madame Alexander's Muffy. So this is a Jenny doll by Vogue, and the dress we're going to make will fit her. We are using Simplicity Pattern 3574. I tend to use 3574 or 3576, which are reissues of the original patterns from the 1950s. If you notice, I have a great big huge basket here next to me, and it is full of little baggies with pre-cut dresses. And I do that before I go to work in the morning. I take that basket with me to work, and I cut out as many dresses as I can from 7 o'clock to 7:45, and then I bring them home and sew them together. So our first little dress is in the bag, and we have a cute little bodice that has been cut out on the fold, and that's what we're going to start with. So I'm going to move the camera to my hands now. Okay, so you're going to take your bodice and you're going to put right sides together after it's been cut out on the fold, which just means the fold of the fabric or the crease of the fabric. We're going to pin it. Now, we are going to sew all the way around the bodice, from the bottom right hand side all the way around the neck and the back and down the other side. I'm using a straight stitch number 2. Okay, now we have sewn all the way around. We are going to take our scissors and we are going to clip in towards the neck seam allowance that you don't want to cut through it. And the reason we do this is because this allows the fabric to lay down flat once you flip it inside out. You also, I'm going to go up the back seam allowance as well. Then I'm going to take my dressmaker shears and I'm going to trim off the excess fabric along the edge so that when I flip it inside out, we won't have a big bulky seam. Now we are going to take the pins out and flip the bodice inside out. So here's the basic bodice. We are now going to flip the arm seams down trying to figure out which side I want it on. And we're going to sew in about a 1/2 inch on the end, which will make the armhole. Once you sew this, you're going to sew and backstitch so that when you put the doll's arms in and out, you won't rip out the seam allowance. We're now going to take out the pins and flip the bodice inside out. So here is our cute little jack-o'-lantern bodice. Next, we're going to take the skirt and we're going to press the hem under. Now we're going to fold it over one more time, give it another press. Because I don't want it to shift around, I'm going to go ahead and put a few pins in it. Okay, we are now going to sew along the hemline. We are now going to bring the right sides together, and we're going to sew about a thumb's width room up the back, and this is going to create the back seam of the skirt. We are now going to press open the back skirt seam. Where our center crease was at, I'm going to mark that with a pin. We are now going to sew down the back flaps of the skirt. Next, we are going to change our stitch length to a long stitch number 4, which is the biggest one I have, and we are going to shear up the skirt. Now we are going to loosen a stitch, and we're going to start shearing the skirt up. We're going to shear halfway into the pin in the center, and then we're going to shear the other side to the pin in the center, instead of trying to shear it all the way around. Oh, great. Well, I just pulled out the stitch, so we're going to have to do that again. The drawing thread broke on me, so I'm going to have to do that again. Okay, now that broke in the center. So let me stop the camera and I will be right back with you. Okay, so we're back. The skirt has been sheared up. We are going to take the bodice and you're going to turn it upside down like so. And you're going to fit it up inside the skirt, aligning the center of the bodice with the center pin. Now we're going to pin the bodice to the skirt and hopefully get it sewn in place the first time around. We're going to move back to straight stitch number 2, and we are now going to sew the bodice on. As I'm sewing, I'm keeping my thumb inside the skirt, trying to keep everything flat and straight. Okay, now we can cut off all of the strings. I'm going to now take this opportunity to go back and zigzag stitch between the seam allowance and the top of the skirt so that the dress does stay securely on. I'm going to trim down any strings across the top of the dress. So that the inside is nice and neat. Because there are people out there that look for such details. Next, I'm going to take out my pins, and we're going to flip the skirt inside out. Got a little pin stuck in here somewhere. Okay, so here's our cute little jack-o'-lantern dress. Okay, next we are going to make the matching panties that go with it. We're going to take our ironing board and we're going to press under the waistband and the seam allowance around the legs. You can sew lace around the legs if you want to. I typically don't, just because it's more expense and it's more time. Okay, we are now going to put the machine on a zigzag stitch, and we are going to sew the legs under. Next, we're going to cut a 3.5 inch piece of elastic. We are going to hold the elastic flush to the top of the panty and stitch it on. Well, something's happening here. What is it? Because that does not remotely sound right. Okay, we're going to pull the elastic as we go. we are going to take the panties, fold the front to the back, go back to straight stitch number 2, and we're going to sew a 1/2 inch down the back seam Next, we are going to fold the back seam open, match it to the notch on the front seam, and sew across, which will make the crotch and the leg holes. Now we're going to cut off any excess fabric that may bunch up between the doll's legs. Okay, now we're going to try our dress on the doll. Normally I would use black elastic when I'm using black fabric, but I'm out of it at the moment, so I just went ahead and used the white. It'll be under the dress, so you won't be able to see it. I'm going to put a little pin in it, because next I will have to sew on the snaps. So here is our cute little Jenny doll. I will also put some pretty ribbon on it. Here she is in her new dress. Too adorable for words. So let me move the camera back up. So I hope you learned something from my video today. We used pattern 3574 to make Jenny a new Halloween style dress. Please check back by later today for more videos, because I will have more. Thank you.